We're back to the Neil Haley show. And you know what? Everyone wants to achieve success. It's a big, big thing. And my guest today is going to talk about it. But the problem is sometimes we lose our personal life. We lose who we are. We lose why we live each and every day. And especially in entrepreneurship, we sometimes kind of get into this tunnel, especially with COVID, where we're just going to just continue to live Groundhog Day over and over again. That's what I thought for so long, especially doing Zooms all the time and not being in one physical spot and not moving. I felt like Groundhog Day for the first 14 months. So I'm excited to welcome to the program our guest, Eva Medilek. Eva, thanks for coming by. How are you?
I'm doing great, Neil. Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to talk about this topic with you.
Okay, so here's the problem. We all want to achieve success in our corporate world, in our corporate job, or in, let's say, in our entrepreneur job, or self-employed, or we're a serial entrepreneur. What mistake we make is we lose something, and you want to teach us not to lose that, right? Lose pretty much our self-worth, lose who we are, lose what we really live life for, right?
Exactly. I mean, when you think about a NASCAR race, those drivers are doing everything they can, racing at high speeds so that they can finish the race, hopefully win it without crashing and burning. And every time that lead car stops for a pit stop, I find myself thinking, oh my God, if you stop now, you're going to fall behind and lose the race. And most of us, we're racing nonstop, trying to do everything that we can do to get ahead, not realizing that if we don't stop, we're sacrificing our health, our well-being, and our relationships. So taking those pit stops is necessary so that we don't break down along the way.
So how do we do that? Give us some quick tips today, because I think a lot of times we've had this topic in certain aspects in different ways, but I like the fact what you're talking about is to create the life you really want to live and allow the job or the business to not be the life. You're creating around that. So give me some quick steps, some quick tips that we can look at, check this and look at. Go ahead.
First of all, most of us are killing ourselves trying to create that work-life balance, but balance is not equal, because when you have a scale that's perfectly balanced, the number on the scale is 0. So if you want to jumpstart your success and advance your career without sacrificing your health, your well-being, and your relationships, I would say to start with 3 things. Okay. 3 things. And I call it my CPR to jumpstart your success. So the first is clarity. Be clear on what makes you happy and ask yourself why you don't have more of that in your life. Is the vision that you have for your life matching your reality today? And then we have P, priorities. It's up to you to be clear on what your priorities and values are, because studies have shown if you don't have clear priorities, you're up to 30% more likely to miss out on success. And when you have clear priorities, it's easy for you to make decisions, the right decisions about your life and business. And the third, the R, take responsibility for setting and creating the boundaries, because setting boundaries creates safety. And without boundaries, we are saying yes to everything to please everyone.
Yes.
And we're ending up burnt out, overwhelmed, and exhausted because of it. And so it's your responsibility not only to set the boundaries, but to communicate the boundaries so that you get support in achieving the clarity on your goals and priorities.
You've nailed it. And the last thing I think is the biggest part of it is that we do after we come up with this plan and we get to the final thing and the evaluation, the result is, are we doing those things we said we're going to do? And are we really doing things to create the life we want? And so I look at it like, oh my gosh, in my business, I want to work Monday through Friday, but when Saturday comes, I don't want to deal with business. I might do an event or something but that's not the kind of business that I'm going to deal with clients on a one-on-one basis, or I'm taking calls 24/7 or doing interviews on Saturdays and Sundays. Exactly. I'm making sure that I kind of carve out that time to really have that enjoyable time. And when you're an entrepreneur, as I quote that I want to start living, is that beach lifestyle that one of my mentors, DJ Reynolds, taught me, that that you're doing work by the pool, or you're traveling and doing work. You're not stuck in the same place all the time. You're not stuck in the monotony that we dealt with in COVID. And I have to look at those things and say, can I make that happen? And I want to make that happen. We have the control to make it happen. And
Yeah, I mean, I have this formula that I call S plus R equals R. You've got a situation plus R, which is your reaction or your response, equals the result. So you have a choice on how you react or respond. And so when you have that choice, what's important for me is taking that responsibility to communicate what you want to create so that you have the support to keep you honest and in line and integrity. If you say, look, I don't want to do interviews on a Saturday. So you tell your team, you tell your family, you tell your kids, and I bet you they'll see, if they see you trying to sneak in just one thing on this Saturday, your kid's going to say, Daddy, remember you said you don't want to work on a Saturday, and you'll have that accountability because you communicated your intention to everyone that can support you.
And let your clients know, hey, it's Saturday and Sunday, call me Monday through Friday, there's an emergency, sorry, I'm not going to be able to. And we make that mistake all the time, or we take on specific things and certain things. And then in a lot of ways, experiences, things like that, make sure you make it part of it. So if you are traveling to do an event, you make sure you do some other bucket list stuff that's just fun and relaxation and checking out and seeing things. And it's hard because we put ourselves in this position. Well, we're living it. We're not thinking how it's affecting our health and our well-being. And one things I've learned in this past like couple months is specifically enough that I have to take time to smell the roses. I have to take time to understand, wow, there's something outside of work. That's hard for a workaholic, but they have to identify that fact because they're just trained in that way. And you have to kind of retrain your brain to understand these things. And I've learned some of those things. So
because you're afraid you're going to miss out, but your success depends on your ability to prioritize without regret or guilt. You've got to master the art of saying no. And because we have so much FOMO, fear of missing out. Am I going to miss this opportunity? Am I going to miss this chance if I don't say yes to this opportunity, even though it happens on a Saturday when I promised I wouldn't work? So you've got to learn how to prioritize without the feeling of guilt or regret, because our feelings are very rarely aligned with what's best for us. You'll feel the guilt, but I would say no anyway and stay true to your plan of what you're clear about, what you're prioritizing, and your boundaries that you've set for yourself.
All right, best place we can go and find info on you. Where can we go?
EvaMedilek.com.
All right, fantastic. Great things to think about. That was a masterclass of information. People need to jot that down and look and kind of at the end of the night say, am I really doing that? And how can I make those changes today to change those things? And if it's out of my control, how am I going to make that plan in 90 days to make sure it happens? So I appreciate you stopping by.
My pleasure. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye. You're listening and watching The Neil Haley Show. We'll be back in just a moment.